goes to Josh Adams.
Racing isn't easy, but experiencing it is. iRacing puts you in the driver's seat with the industry's leading sim racing game. Drive on laser scan replicas of the greatest racing circuits from around the world. Go head-to-head against other drivers chosen by skill-based matchmaking to ensure competitive racing at every level. Compete across all your favorite series. In officially licensed cars, engineered to deliver the most accurate driving experience possible. Join a race or host your own with players from across the globe. Race against the computer or in a league with friends. Feel the thrill behind the wheel. Visit iRacing.com.
Welcome in, ladies and gentlemen, to another presentation of the National Sim Racing League Association, this time from Talladega Super Speedway. Presented to you by Diesel Laptops, sponsor of tonight's race. Make sure to check them out. We got something special up here in the booth this evening for the first time. Working with me, Daniel Cunningham joins me as a color commentator. I'm your host and producer, Morgan Cook, and of course you are watching VSPEED. Daniel, how you doing?
Doing good, Morgan. Appreciate you having me up here in the booth tonight. This is one of the best racetracks that you could probably jump in and just call a lot of action here at Talladega. Gonna be three wide, wild racing, wild finishes, wild crashes, and looking forward to it to see what these guys can put on here for us tonight.
Absolutely, and if you haven't already, make sure to like the video, subscribe to the channel so you don't miss a moment of that great racing action. Also, a membership available on YouTube if you choose to do so. Definitely check that out in the description. Should be a good time. All right, well, now that that's out of the way, let's have a look at the racetrack that everyone knows so well, Talladega Super Speedway. A lot of drivers think it's easy to race at this place. Daniel, tell them why that is not the case.
You just never know what's lurking around any turn. As you can see there with our track info, 2.66 miles, the longest oval on the NASCAR schedule, 33 degrees of banking on the straightaways, 16 degrees through the front stretch tri-oval, and these ARCA cars that they're running tonight, they get a little swirly in the draft. They're not easy to hang on to. They can get away from you in a hurry, and you're going to be in tight quarters going 3 and 4 wide around here. So definitely going to be a challenge for these drivers out there tonight, and we will see how they handle it as we take a look at the remaining schedule for the National Sim Racing League Association.
Yeah, so here we are, race 5 at Talladega, Martinsville next week, Watkins Glen, Richmond, Bristol, Michigan, Lucas Oil Raceway, and Las Vegas to round out the season, which will end at the end of September. Let's have a quick look at those points. We're about 40 seconds away from showtime. Dustin Lewis has been a man on a consistent mission, up still as the points leader. Cartledge right behind him. Montgomery with his 2 wins, trying to make it 3 here tonight. And the rest of your field, Cochran and Espy, the teammates, in 4th and 5th in the points. Everyone trying to chase down Dustin Lewis. Well, it's going to be a wild one. I can tell you right now, I have that feeling. We're currently cutting down the field. There are well more than 30 drivers here trying to make the show. Andy Berry and team trying to figure out who is going to make the show, who's not going to make the show. We will have word here in just a moment exactly what this field size is going to look like.
Yeah, we do know there are a few drivers that are guaranteed starting spots tonight based on their point standing position. So we do have some cuts that we're going to make, going to have some DNQs, going old school NASCAR here with some guys not making the field. Looks like Andy does have that worked out. These drivers are starting to take the grid here, Morgan.
Absolutely. Let's get through it. Matthew Montgomery, your pole sitter, has won the most races this year, trying to win one more. Mark Cofield, alongside him, another winner this season. Third position going to belong to Connell Bolton in the 87. Casey Bristow will start in fourth. Row 3, Brandon Bees with a career qualifying effort. Stephen McDonald will start in sixth. Seventh will be Gavin Henson in the 60. Aaron Espy starts in eighth, and your top 10 belongs to Anna Hancock and Michael Cole.
Starting in 11th is going to be Zechariah Cartledge with Aaron Wright starting next to him in 12th. Jaden Mizell and Toby Ryder starting 13th and 14th. Starting in 15th, Brandon Wallace in the 90 car. 16th, Dustin Lewis. Starting in 17th, Gino Valenti, and in 18th, Daniel Silo. Rounding out your top 20 is going to be Trace McDowell and Sam Bridges starting from that 20th spot.
21st will be Kevin Satori. 22nd, Jeffrey Bourne. 23rd will be Alex Pollock in the 92. MJ Palmer in the 2 machine will roll off in 24th. 25th will be Stephen Gill. Jeremiah Holt alongside him, making up row number 13. Row 14 looks like Sean Warobe in the 20. Jacob Cochran in 28th. 29th will be Derek Scluttle. And Jordan Bridges rounds out the top 30. I believe we have 2 more drivers making maybe 3 more drivers making the field. Those are going to be Jared Green, Gregory Vadnais, and Caleb Jones, if my timing and scoring is correct. We'll have more word on that here in just a minute. A bit of an interesting situation with how this grid is working, but have no fear. Cars will be on the racetrack here shortly. As we fly high above this Talladega Super Speedway over the super stretch right now. There is the leader rolling off. Let's have a chat about that race analysis, Daniel.
And as we take a look tonight, we've got 67 laps, 55 miles an hour on pit road, 3 sets of tires. We do have 2 green-white checker attempts. And to me, the big one out of this, Morgan, 18 to 20 laps of fuel. These guys are not running a full fuel load. 60% fuel here tonight. Even if the max at the green flag run, they are going to have to pit 3 times tonight for fuel. So going to be interesting to see how those strategies play out, see how guys try to manage that, and what they do as we move forward throughout the night.
Absolutely. It'll be definitely curious to see the strategy. Will cautions play a factor? Will we be mostly clean and green? A lot of these drivers race in the Mystic Racing League. You can also see on VSPEED on Wednesday, Thursdays, or Fridays, depending on the week. It's been Super Speedway week for all of these guys. Even the NSRLA Truck Series last Monday was also at Daytona, so we've had plenty of Super Speedway races. This being the last one of the group here, so these guys should be pretty practiced up when it comes to this kind of racing. I'm expecting a lot of green flag running, expecting a lot of great racing, these 2-3 wide here at Talladega in the ARCA car, and I'm just ready for a show, Daniel.
Yeah, I think it's going to be a good one tonight, and I'll tell you what, at the risk of putting a broadcaster curse on someone, before we even get going, Mark Cofield in that 97. This is a hometown track for him. Might not mean much to some people on iRacing, but he is from about 20 minutes away from Talladega in real life. You know he's going to be motivated to get this done tonight, starting on the outside front row as the flagman has the green flag in hand.
Absolutely. Barney's got that green flag. He's gripping it tight. Pretty soon here, we're going to get to the restart zone. And we're racing at Talladega.
Green flag in the air as they head off 2 by 2. out into turn one, getting these ARCA cars wound up. See some guys already dropping to the inside. Martin Cofield hung out a little bit there on the outside as they get everything wound up and get through 1 and 2 here onto the back straightaway.
Yeah, it looks like the top two get away clean. But again, we got a lot of race left. I wouldn't be worried about it right now. Oh, we just had a crash there. Bill Bolton just about found himself underneath that yellow line, pushing the 9 machine, able to keep it righted.
Yeah, good job hanging on to it there. Still 2 by 2, pretty much the entire way through the back. You know, sometimes you might see some guys drop to the back early, try to stay out of the hornet's nest, so to speak. Not a whole lot of that going on here up near the front. Still pretty tight together, and it looks like with the help of Stephen McDonald pushing, Mark Cofield is going to lead the first lap.
Wild, since he got shuffled back off of turn 2, fell back to like 5th position, ends up leading the first lap. Yeah, that's going to be a story all night as drivers. Oh, Zechariah Cartledge below the line. It's going to be a story all night is how quickly the runs develop and how quickly you can do something with them. I know from experience last night, the next-gen car, you can get good runs, but once you poke that nose out, it wouldn't do anything in clean air. I'm curious to see what the ARCA car is able to do tonight if these runs will sustain themselves.
Yeah, I think the ARCA car is kind of similar just with how it drives, and that, you know, it's hard to keep that momentum in clean air. And it seems like the side draft works a lot too as we ride on board here with the 61 car in the pack. Looking at the back of that FedEx Kinko's Toyota in front of them, little Denny Hamlin throwback action here. These guys are going to be toughed up, trying to save some fuel here probably a little bit early on to stretch this run. Not too early to even start thinking about that.
Now let's have a look at the telemetry here. Look at the RPMs, what I'm worried about, not worried about, what I'm looking at right now. We see Cofield hanging around that 7,400, 7,500 RPM. Let's go all the way back to Jacob Cochran here, maybe Caleb Jones, and see what the RPMs look like. See about 100 less. Now he's not full throttle in times, just trying to save a little bit of fuel. Now he's on 7,100, 7,000. Trying to save that fuel a little bit and just not run with the guy in front of him.
Yeah, for sure. And with as close as it is, I mean, I don't think if it did go green, which is maybe being a little bit optimistic that it would go green for 67 laps at Talladega, but it's never too early to start saving. You might be able to shorten that pit stop up like we see in real life with these drivers and, you know, save a little bit of time on pit road. But definitely those guys up there leading the lines like Mark Cofield and Montgomery in the 9 car, they are going to be burning the most fuel right now out there.
You see these two packs have broken up by about 2 seconds. Brendan Wallace, the last driver in the first pack. Behind him, Stephen Gill trying to lead pack number 2. They have definitely broken up, and they are very disorganized behind them. I'm not really sure what's going on. Back behind about the 28th position. Definitely got to be frustrating for these drivers who are about to lose the draft so early. Jeremiah Holtz making a pit stop, just falling all the way back through the field here.
Yeah, and you know, that's something that you'll see a lot with these super speedway races where, you know, we kind of talked about a little bit earlier on that dropping to the back and just trying to avoid the chaos is a strategy as things got a little bit crazy up front there. It looked like Mark Cofield may have dipped down on the apron just a bit. But, you know, if you're going to drop to the back and try to just ride, you don't really want to be side by side like that. You want to try to stay in line, save a little bit, just make sure that you're making good lap time still, but just keep it a safe distance in front of you.
Absolutely, you don't want to, and falling back is, I think, a fine option, but you also don't want to be 8 seconds behind the leader by yourself. That's a little too far back, in my opinion. You got to be with a group of cars at the very least. And if you can hang it right about here where Stephen Gill is, see about 3 seconds back, plenty of time to avoid an accident. But you have to be perfect on pit road and with your strategy, because if you make a mistake and you drop too many cars out of this group he's got behind him, you won't be able to catch the pack and have a chance to win the race. So you got to balance one way or the other what you're going to do.
Yeah, absolutely. And that second pack has single filed out now, so doing what they need to do if that's indeed what their strategy is. And with being in a line like that, if you want to push and try to get up there and race, you can really do it and make some good lap times, get everybody tightened up. So be interesting to see if they decide to push a little bit later on here, maybe as we get closer to the first round of pit stops. But it seems like for me, I never have a whole lot of luck hanging out in the back. But then again, I never have a whole lot of luck trying to race up near the front anyway. I usually end up upside down or in a hot dog stand somewhere. So far be it for me to question any of the strategies that these guys have out here.
Absolutely. We see some damage on the nose of Alex Pollock. Hard to see because of the color of that grill. We'll see if we can't quite see it just because how close he is right behind this 03 machine, but it's pretty dented in. The nose of that 92, might be able to see it here. There it is, right in the center. Big hole punched in it. That is not going to help the aero or the cooling on the 92. Could be a reason why they are matching lap times to the lead pack and not necessarily gaining anything at the moment, but they'll be curious to see kind of what that looks like. Back up front, it has not settled down at all. We're still pushing 2 wide here, 3 wide in spots. We see Brandon Wallace, last time we looked, he was at the back of this pack. He is now right behind Connell Bolton, running the high side.
Yeah, Brandon's done a really good job working his way up through the field in that 90 car. As you mentioned, up there on the outside line, seeing a little bit of twin action going on there with those 2 cars leading the outside, 2 Miller highlight schemes out there. But trying to make a little bit of ground here and get up there. And, Brandon, I've seen him win a couple of races here on Super Speedway, so it wouldn't surprise me if he's in the mix throughout the...
Yeah, definitely would not surprise me to see. There's a lot of drivers that really would not surprise me to see them win a race. One that I'm going to continue to shout out seemingly every week just for becoming really solid, and I'm really impressed with the growth that I've seen out of him in the last few races. None other than my sleeper pick, Mr. Brandon V's. A great run here in P6, qualified well, hanging out on the inside line, just doing his thing and doing a great job here. So, like what I'm seeing out of that 65 car.
Yeah, he's definitely doing a good job up there where he needs to be, just not making any wild moves, just riding in line right now up there in the top 10. Hopefully out of harm's way should anything wild break out. He's in a good spot though, and yeah, shout out to him for a solid run so far.
Absolutely. Got one more driver cam will show us throughout the night. That is the one of Toby Ritters and that awesome sim rig he has. I'm sure we'll catch up with him a little bit later in the show. For now, all eyes are focused on this front quartet, as we just about saw them all hit each other. New leader, though, it's going to be the 87 off the top side with a little help from his twin, Brandon Wallace.
Yeah, Bolton with a really good run. See, Brandon Wallace is going to duck to the inside here and try to get a run down the back straightaway. No help out back, though. Not going to be able to take that lead. Got a push coming from Michael Cole in the 43 car, though. But right now, 87 in control. He's going to start trying to control these lanes a little bit. As you see, he moves up, blocks that run on the high line. Nothing late, nothing egregious, just trying to keep everybody behind him and maintain control of this race.
If every block is like that tonight, we'll probably make it to the end of this race without any cautions. That was a very well done block. It was deliberated. It was done quickly, and it was done without any, egregious nature to it. So if you keep doing that, we're going to be in great shape. We see some blocks here that end up wrecking cars, kind of like that one. And there goes the entire field.
Yeah, just as we were talking about the blocks and how that one was not egregious, there was an absolutely huge wreck that just took place.
And we're still, now there's the caution.
Finally out. I heard, I've got race comms that I could hear in the background, and there were a bunch of guys asking, where's the caution? Finally comes out. We're going to have to get this one queued up on the VSPEED instant replay. That took out quite a few drivers here.
It's funny how that works, eh? That commentators curse when you're talking about something, and then it's like, oh, the opposite happens, not even a corner later. So we see the 87 obviously up at the top. He's going to go down to the bottom here. Thinks that's where Mazel is going. Turns out it's not. Mazel gets the run up the hill. Again, nothing crazy there, but he continues to get pushed from the 35, gets turned into the wall. Ritters is in it, the 50's in it, 33, bunch of other guys involved in this. And a lot of drivers not
about,
really slowing down for this either.
And talking about the broadcaster curse, just after you gave a shout out to Brandon V's, he was caught up in that as well. Has a meatball flag. Quite a few drivers that have meatballs from that. They do have a faster pair here this evening to get back in the action here. But yeah, that took out a lot of guys up near the front in that lead pack.
So the good news is that we do have faster pairs, as you mentioned, and I'm just having a look at a little further back here, some drivers. Oh, wow. What happened there? What happened?
It looked like that was the 8 car that got packed after the wreck was seemingly over.
Yeah, we're gonna have to go back and check that one out. He got absolutely smoked by somebody. Curious to know what happened there. I think it's that car at the end of this line, or possibly the first purple car in that next line. I just know the car was purple.
You see, he goes down onto the apron to avoid the wreck. Looks like he has.
He had to avoid a car in front of him. Went up back in front of the 15 machine of Jared Green. Yeah, that's a tough one.
In front of the 15, and that's like you said, that's a tough situation for all drivers involved. But we've got him hitting pit road here. Looks like everybody's going to come down and take advantage of this opportunity to fill up with fuel, get the damage fixed, those that were involved, and see where this puts them as far as fuel strategy goes for the remainder of the race, if they can make it on 2 stops from here.
Absolutely. Well, we saw 20. That's the number I'm going to do my math off of, because it's a nice, nice round number. So if we can go to 33, well, we'll have like a couple more laps, I guess, under caution. So say we go back racing at 15. 35, 55, and so I'm thinking 2 at least more pit stops. I don't think you need a third one, but this should put us pretty nice for the end of the race here if we're able to keep it going green.
Yeah, absolutely. And just taking a look at our YouTube chat that we've got out there, just taking a look at the comments after that wreck, see 15 wow brakes, as well as cartilage great avoidance. And I think I can agree with both of those statements here, Morgan, after watching back the replay of that. Some good job with avoiding wrecks there, but yeah, there's probably a couple extras caught up in that.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, it happens at times, and Talladega and Daytona are definitely two that it happens more often than others, I would say, with drivers maybe not giving the due care and attention that it requires. Also got to remember, caution didn't come out for another 20, 30 seconds. So I will give some of those drivers a pass who were caught up in this crash because the caution wasn't out yet. So drivers like Jared Green, who ended up, piling into somebody else, not necessarily his fault because there was no caution displayed. So I'll give him the benefit of the doubt on that one. I'm pretty, as you guys know, Daniel doesn't, but as you guys know, I'm pretty harsh on ARCA breakers typically. I'll give him a pass on that one. Sorry, Gavin.
Yeah, that's
by the way, as well. He's still upset at me about something I said in a race that happened 3 months ago, but I digress.
Yeah, that's a good point that the caution didn't come out, because I've actually gotten bit by that before on super speedways, where you check up for a wreck thinking caution's going to come out, caution never does, you lose the draft, and then next thing you know, your race is pretty much shot. So
right.
I think I agree with that we can give that one a pass given the circumstances.
Absolutely, but I'm going to go back racing here with 15 laps completed, or starting lap 15, I should say. Here, a couple Miller High Life cars on the front row. You don't see that every day. And then behind him, or behind them, we got Trace McDowell, Matthew Montgomery, Michael Cole, Zechariah Cartledge, Aaron Espy, Jeremiah Holt, Brandon V's, and Stephen Gill. That is your top 10. Connell Bolton and Brandon Wallace, obviously those 2 Miller High Life cars, leading the way so far. Daniel, what do you think? What have you seen? What are you going to keep your eye on the rest of the way?
I'm just curious if we could see a third lane get formed with any consistency. We've seen it where guys have used it to kind of get a run, and then they drop back down in one of those 2 bottom lanes. But yeah, it just seems like that third lane is a little difficult to get rolling in these cars. And also, just a quick side note with the Miller High Life schemes, it just seems fitting that we have 2 Bobby Allison schemes up front right now at Talladega with the Alabama Gang super stretch back there. So that just seems fitting right now.
It does, and if Cofield can get up here, then oh boy, it'd be a real party. Another Alabama driver, of course, in this race. He currently finds himself in 26th position. Had some issues with that accident, I believe, but everyone's got their cars fixed up, at least enough to keep rolling. Everyone's still in the race, with the exception of David Moyer, who I believe mistakenly joined this session. Casey Bristow will be the last driver running in this race.
So I believe you are correct with that as well, but they are lined back up side by side as they approach that restart zone. Going to lead them down here. Green flag is in the air, and you can see Bolton with a little bit of a jump there on the bottom line, or on the top line rather. Not necessarily what you're looking for at Talladega, just trying to stay tight with everybody, but bottom line formed up pretty well. Brandon Wallace hung out a little bit on that outside line.
Now, what happened on the top side? They have disappeared entirely. What happened to the back of the field? They also have seemingly dropped off. Not sure if there's some really damaged cars out here that are kind of hampering progress, but this could also be one of those wake-up calls for drivers to really start to hang back and just employ that strategy of, if I can't be up in the top 5, I'm going to be in the bottom 5, and I'm going to make sure that if there's a crash, I'm not involved in it.
Yeah, absolutely. And just looking at a few of those drivers that are in the back, the 17 of Jaden Mazzell, Mark Cofield is another one. Jordan Bridges, I believe, V's is another one that's back there. They all had to burn fast repairs on that last round. So it makes sense to me, if you had to burn your fast repair this early into the race, you probably just want to ride a little bit and hope that you can make it to the end and then take the chances once you get there.
Yeah, you got to be very careful, because the rest of the way you don't have any more opportunities. If you destroy that car, you got to get it fixed with the time that's allowed to you. And there's only so much time that's going to exist in this race if you have a half an hour of damage, and it's obviously not going to be competitive for you. So you definitely have to be careful if you burn that fast repair already, to take it easy, be smart. The only driver I see up here who is really pushing the issue after burning that fast repair is Brandon V's. Actually, he's right here in 8th. And I'd be careful about the 65, because, yeah, he's in a hornet's nest right now.
Yeah, your pre-race pick, Brandon V's, back up there where he was at before in the top 10. And I'm with you. That makes me nervous. We still got 50 laps to go, and I've already used my fast repair. I don't like being that far up, but as I said earlier, I usually make the wrong call on where to run here at super speedways. So I'm not going to question the guy holding the steering wheel. I'm going to trust what he's saying. Take a look a little bit further back. The 92 had that damage earlier. Looks like he's still got some damage on the front of that car. Off pace here. Take a look at one of our driver cams for the evening.
Yeah, so probably not the driver cam he wanted, but Alex Pollock running back here in the 31st. He's got that nose damage, clearly suspension damage too. It is a handful to drive, but he's even got the Gatorade hydrated. Love to see it. But he's hanging out back here. I'm sure he'll get back up in the race here pretty soon, but at least at this moment in time, that 92 a little bit worse for wear. Electing not to use the fast repair. Yeah, it's not going good for you, Alex. Sorry to say, but there's still plenty of time.
Yeah, not laughing at the misfortune there, Alex, just laughing at the timing. He must have the broadcast up listening to us, given the thumbs down there as we had the driver cam on him with that damage that he's fighting. But as you said, still plenty of time to get back in it. Does still have that fast repair that he can use a little bit later on to get the damage.
Yeah, the hope is not gone by any stretch. Definitely a lot of time left. And another caution, use a fast repair, you're right back in it. I think he now realized just how much damage he actually has. And that sometimes what you have to do at Daytona and Talladega. A minute of damage out the front and a minute of damage in the back are not the same minute of damage, as you well know, Daniel. They affect the car in very different ways, so I think he now realizing how heavy the nose damage is, probably worth either more time in pit road or fast repair.
Yeah, for sure. These ARCA cars in general seem like they do not handle damage very well on super speedways. All of these cars are super aero sensitive as far as the NASCAR stuff goes, but for whatever reason, it seems like it hits these a little bit harder. Not sure if it's just the drafting package that they have or what, and it just makes it that much harder. But these guys up at the front are still trading loads right now and still moving around a lot, putting on some good racing as we see the 61 rather taking the lead here. but that was short-lived. The 9 going to take over here, and Montgomery going to lead that lap.
Yeah, Matthew Montgomery has been excellent so far this year. He was great at Daytona earlier. Oh, big spin! Zechariah Cartledge is around, and the rest of the field. Oh, my goodness.
Yeah, it looks like there was, I believe, only 2 cars, but a couple more pile in afterwards, after the initial wreck took place, just as we were talking about Zechariah Cartledge and the good run that he did to get up there. Like him and Brandon Wallace both involved. Take a look at the replay here. Wasn't quite sure what happened, but man, that was a big hit for the 61. Looked like just a bad push there in the wrong spot.
Right.
And just head on into the wall. Nothing the 61 could really do. See the 0-1 comes in, makes some contact. Bumper comes flying off afterwards.
Yeah, I'm going to ride on board with Scylla here. It looks like he was in a bit of a situation coming to this, so I'm going to give him benefit of the doubt as well. But it looks like he got into the back of Sam Bridges, or someone got in the back of him, and he had a really hard time avoiding this. He's already off the throttle here, just waiting. But he didn't quite realize how hard the 78 was going to hit the brakes. Obviously got a little squirrely trying to avoid him, and got himself into some more issues here. Brandon Wallace with the meatball. Let's ride on board with him. Yeah, he's not having a good time.
Yeah, that car absolutely destroyed. As we take a look at what happened to the 90 car, Brandon Wallace, just an innocent bystander
right
here.
in the door.
Yeah, right in the door. Nothing that he could do about that one. Just wrong place, wrong time for the 90 car. But he'll limp it back around the pit road, get that faster pair, as you can see there, and see if he can get back out there.
Yeah, it looks like we got 4 drivers involved in that one. All of them likely going to need a faster pair out of that. Well, you know who this is good news for? That would be Alex Pollock, able to get that thing fixed up. A little more time on pit road here as most, yes, the entire field, except for Brandon V's, going to hit the pit lane. I believe V's might have got some damage from that as well. Let's see maybe at the start-finish line if we can see any damage on that car.
Yeah, it was hard to tell. He was right there in it, but he might have possibly gotten saved by netcode on that.
Yeah, car looks fine.
Yeah, car looks fine visually, and you know, sometimes, Morgan, as you know, with the way that iRacing operates, you can make contact, you can get the incident points, but if it doesn't register the right way, you might get lucky with netcode and not actually take any damage from it. Possibly what happened with the 65 there.
Yeah, definitely possible. Sometimes the netcode just works your way. Sometimes it doesn't. In this case, it looks like it went the way of the 65, and that is good because, again, like we mentioned, documented he already burned that faster pair, so he's got what he's got the rest of the race. This car is the one that's going to finish. He doesn't get a reset like a lot of the other guys do, and a lot of guys also starting to run out of faster pairs. A lot of the field have already used theirs, so we might start to see some drivers drop out of this race here in the next little while.
Yeah, for sure. Just looking through the list here, it looks like roughly about a third of the field has already used their faster pairs so far tonight. And, you know, we've touched on it with that 65 car of Brandon V's. It feels like you're playing with fire a little bit here. You had that big incident right there where you got lucky and got through it. Man, I don't know. Like I said, it's hard for me to question the guy behind the wheel. He's the one that's making the decisions, but I think after that, I'd be bailing out after that.
Counterpoint to that, Daniel, is that, of course, if you bail out, you have to pass all the cars back, right? That's where it gets hairy. If you're already up here and you're just content to ride, I like to keep myself glued to the bottom, 3rd or 4th car in line, typically is a happy place for me. If I can just stay there, I'm fine with having with no faster pairs left and just letting it ride, because I know that I'm in the best, safest position that I can be without having to pass every car later in the race to get the spots back. Well,
and you know what? You won a race at Talladega last night. We're going to trust you. Never mind. We'll give you the kudos on that one. You seem like you got a little bit better decision making than I do with these things.
Yeah, I won that Daytona last night Octane Cup Series for Mystic Racing League. With a lot of the guys in the field were in that race as well. It was a lot of fun. Glad that they had me in that race. That was good. But yeah, I just hung out that third or fourth car on the inside for most of the race. Got shuffled back a little bit, worked my way back up to the field, and really was just trying to be patient and be calm and not make any crazy egregious moves until showtime at the end of the race. And that's exactly what I did, and it just happened to work out. So is that the only way to win a race here? No, not at all. You could lead every lap. You could lead only the final lap. You could, find somewhere in between. They're all viable strategies here. As long as you make it to the checkered flag, you have a chance at winning this race.
Yeah, absolutely. Definitely a lot of routes that you can take to get there. But, yeah, we'll see what happens here as we approach about the 1/3 mark of our race. Just a little bit, well, I guess actually we're right on that number of the 1/3 mark. And so far, it's not disappointed. We've seen a lot of side-by-side racing. We've seen a lot of a couple of big wrecks so far, and I have a feeling we're going to see a lot more of that as we continue.
The only thing left on the bingo card's a green flag pit stop. Hopefully we can get one of those in the books here pretty soon. That would be good news to see all these cars fan out as they enter pit road and see the strategies and the rejoins and all that stuff, and just see kind of what it looks like from the grand scheme of things. But we're going to have some green flag racing to find that out.
Yeah, absolutely. And depending on how long this goes green, we may see it sooner rather than later with a few of our front runners. Currently about 11 to 12 laps in on this fuel run. Of course, the cautions will help out with that, but we'll see how this plays out here for them.
All right, field doubled up in the hand of Brandon V's into the restart zone. Late launch for the 65. Oh, wait, out of the zone. He waited for green. Oh, they're wrecking behind him. Pollock's in it.
Yeah, we've got cars sideways near the back of the field. No caution at the moment. See, the 92 was in the infield grass, and it looks like we are going to be staying green here. Brandon V's out in front with Jeffrey Bourne, Matthew Montgomery in line behind.
We're going to take a look at that and see what happened
to
the 92 here. He just got a big push from the 87, and I'm not really sure why. He just got spun around.
Strange. It looked like he was maybe checking up to try to keep a little bit of a gap, and maybe the 87 didn't anticipate that, but definitely an odd scenario there near the back of the field. Pollock does still have his fast repair, but also showing a black flag currently. So not quite sure what that black flag is for, but something that he'll have to come down and serve here.
Could have potentially a passing under yellow, something of that nature. I mean, oh, big spin right behind these guys. Palmer and Cochran.
And Cochran caught up in another one. Yellow flag.
Still not out.
Yet played.
There it is.
Now it is out with those cars sitting sideways in the middle of the track. And big damage for both vehicles involved with Palmer and Cochran. Take a look on the replay here to see what exactly happened. See Palmer in that middle lane. Oh, just a mistimed move out of the 8 car there. Looked like he maybe thought he was clear, just caught the 2 car right in the left rear quarter panel. Really fortunate that nobody else behind them actually piled into that after.
So riding on board here with the 2, watch the hash marks to kind of see what's going on here. Yeah, he kind of went up
a little bit.
Yeah. Let's look back at Cochran as well. These 2 cars, I've never seen that before, where they had to like magnet apart. That was interesting. But let's have a leather look here. This time from Cochran in the 8 machine.
See, he's in line, just following the car ahead of him there.
Gavin Hinson.
Yeah, Gavin Hinson. He's just minding his business up there on that top line.
Yeah,
watching the hash marks. Yeah,
I don't think he moved at all. I think the 2 just came up across his nose, and that's going to be 2 strikes for Cochran. Unfortunate. Well, good news, he has a fast repair left, so that's going to help.
He does, but Palmer, that is pretty much going to end any chances he had of winning. Yeah. Still out. I believe he's still out on the track. No, he's on pit road right now.
Get tires changed.
But but did already use his fast repair. And yeah, you're 100% right. I called that one wrong to start with. It did look initially like maybe the 8 car came down, but not the case there. And as we're under caution here, some of those guys that stayed out the last time looks like are going to hit pit road here to get some more fuel.
And what this does, this just changes the fuel window a little bit. It puts you a little off sequence. I'm not sure who it helps and who it hurts here, as we're kind of in the middle of the sequence. Actually, this would help, I would think, the guys who are pitting right now, because they're only a couple 20-lap runs away from making it right to the number, which is great, because 20 laps is the kind of the green flag number if you're in the draft. So this is good for them. Kind of puts everyone else on the back foot. I'm curious to see kind of what this is going to look like here the rest of the way.
Yeah, it's definitely going to be interesting if this does go green and we do hit those green flag pit stops, because as you just mentioned, this puts us right at 40 to go. So this is going to be a little bit of a stretch for them to be able to make it on one stop if it does go green. Of course, the caution laps here will help, and they could come down and top off at the end of the caution as well. But yeah, as you said, just mixes up the strategy a little bit more with what we've got with these shorter fuel loads here.
Absolutely. And I mean, when you're running, I mean, Montgomery was up at the front of the pack earlier as well, but when you're running middle of the pack, or when you're having trouble passing cars, this is a track that has difficulty passing on sometimes, unless you can really make that third lane work. You have to just try something different, try a different strategy, try there's no choose here, so that's not going to work, but try something different to kind of gain some track position artificially and just see if you can hold it or if it'll work out for you.
Yeah, for sure. I'm a big fan of trying different strategies, just doing some different stuff. So I like what they're doing. I think it's a smart idea. And it looks like a few of the guys that have come down and pitted have also been ones that have used their fast repair. So that may be playing into their decision making a little bit here too, to just try to avoid some of the chaos that we've seen here up front so far.
Definitely possible. We're going to take a quick step aside, but you're not going to miss a single thing. A little side-by-side presented by Juicy Spider Studios. Don't go anywhere. Be right back.
To Josh Adams.
Back here live on VSPEED. Thank you to Juicy Spider Studios for the uninterrupted commercial break. Appreciate everything that they do here for us on the channel and the community. Well, 28 laps in here at Talladega. We got Trace McDowell and Aaron Espy leading the way in the 16 and the 3. Hinson, Holt, Gill, Cofield, Lewis, Scuttle, Mazzell, and Hancock are your top 10. There's a ticker on the side of the screen. Been a fun one so far. Let's have a quick recap as we roll into turn number 3. 3 cautions for 8 lead changes. And potentially some interesting strategy. We talked about that just before the break there, Daniel, where you can see some drivers maybe make it on 2 stops where the others will have to take an extra one. Curious, it's going to be tight to the end here.
Yeah, definitely. And just a quick bit of housekeeping also, I mentioned Alex Pollock had a black flag earlier. He actually just commented in the YouTube chat, 16x and 25 laps from getting rear-ended.
Gotcha.
I believe that was an incident point penalty that he had accrued because of that. So a little bit of clarification there for those that are watching.
Yeah, I forgot about the incident point limits that are in this league. I believe 17, 21, 25, something like that are the limits. Highly debated over the last couple weeks, but clearly doing what they're supposed to do because drivers have been quite clean here this evening. Bottom lane gets away easily. Trace McDowell, big lead. Hinson right behind him. Espy side by side with Stephen Gill.
And a couple of Alabama drivers up there on the top side. Mark Cofield that we mentioned, and shout out to Jeremiah Holt working his way up into the top 10. Another one of those hometown drivers that we've got here tonight trying to work their way up towards the front. He's actually found his way into the top 5 as they head down into turn 3 and 4. Mark Cofield behind pushing.
And look at the top side roll. Look at, we see Matthew Montgomery and Brandon Wallace. They just passed maybe a dozen cars there down the backstretch. And they are rolling right now. And they're wrecking in front of them.
Oh, in the front. Believe that actually took place up near the front of the pack.
That was the leader.
16 car.
You're right.
Not sure if that was just a mistimed move or what may have happened there. Also, the 60 involved with that as well.
Somehow no damage on the 60. That's wild.
Yeah, that is definitely surprising with as hard as that hit was. Take a look on the instant replay. Looks
just
like
a horrific block.
Yeah, just a really late block there from the 16. 60 nowhere to go, had the momentum on the outside. And again, fortunate that no other cars in the back of the field involved in that as the field went by. Not something you see a whole lot at Talladega with everybody able to avoid like that.
Yeah, when they're stuck up against the wall, definitely helps. But yeah, this breaks a couple rules of blocking, and it's be quick and be decisive, and this was neither. That was a slow, meandering block that just, he was going to run him all the way into the fence, and he did. There wasn't anything Gavin could do. He's got a driver on his back bumper. Luckily, this is only a 2-car accident, like you mentioned, Daniel. This definitely could have been a lot worse for the rest of the field.
Yeah, absolutely. And see if there's any big damage on the 16. It looks like the 16 of Trace McDowell did get the worst of that.
Definitely.
See a little bit of damage there on the right front, especially with that tire kind of sticking out from the outside of the fender there.
I think the 60's okay, though. I don't think there's any damage on the Hinson machine.
Yeah, the 60 doesn't look any worse for wear somehow. Maybe a little bit there on the front end. Like there might have been just a little wrinkle there, but yeah, overall looks like the 60 could have definitely come out worse than that, than they did.
Drivers on pit road here. We'll see if the 60 hits pit road. That'll kind of tell the tale. He is on the pit lane, but I don't believe he's got all that much damage. So, oh, Aaron Espy has stopped. I believe we're waiting for the pace car is what's happening here, because he's the leader and there is nobody around. Yeah, there's the pace car. Yeah, we're just catching the pace car here. Okay, I was like, why is the 3 stopped on the apron? He's as the leader. What's going on here? There's the pace car. Now we can accelerate.
Yeah, you'll get that sometimes at Talladega. A little bit of a weird pit road, and then especially with the caution coming out where it did. With
such a long racetrack, too.
Yeah, and then, you know, if you're like me, you're just kind of sitting there waiting, and then the pace car comes flying by at about 100 miles an hour and about makes you jump scare. So they'll get gridded up behind the pace car here. And this will definitely, for those that are stopping, this will definitely put them in that one-stop window. Even those that stopped previously should be able to save enough from that last caution here to be able to make it on one stop with the fuel strategy.
Yeah, strategy is definitely getting interesting. We're losing the ability to have that green flag pit stop that would really complete everyone's bingo card here tonight. Nonetheless, strategy definitely still top of mind for all of these drivers. When to pit, which cycle to be on. There are really kind of 3 distinct cycles right now. Drivers who pit 10 laps ago, that is your entire top 6. Get the ticker on the screen. And the lap they last pit would also help. There we go. So the drivers who pit on 21, that's one group. The drivers who pit on about 25 is the other group. And then the drivers who just pit here on lap 30, that is your third group. So 3 very distinct strategies, considering the fuel mileage only goes about 18 to 20. Curious to see kind of what this looks like for drivers here. Which strategy ends up being the best? Not sure. Yeah,
and there's a lot of people that don't really like the the pit strategy aspect of the super speedway racing, but I enjoy it. I think it adds an extra little wrinkle. As you said, it would be nice to see a round of green flag pit stops, because they get a little bit wild here at Talladega, especially if you get a group of 10, 15 cars trying to peel off at the same time, seeing them fan out. So hopefully we can get a long green run in here and see these guys make that green flag stop.
What I also like about green flag stops is it really rewards experience. Drivers who are able to properly get on and off pit road, hit the pit box, communicate with their people in their group, get grouped back up, and efficiently draft. Those are the drivers that do really well on green flag pit stops. They can make up a ton of time. And it does not reward inexperienced or impatient drivers who make mistakes into pit road, into the box, out of pit road, make the wrong selection for tires or fuel, or try and go too wide out of the pits. You know, all that stuff really hurts your group and can be the difference between you winning and losing a race.
Yeah, absolutely. And you know what? It also rewards bravery. How far can you send it down there on the apron, still make the pit road speed, not run over anybody in front of you? So in addition to everything you said, sometimes you just got to be brave and drive it in there too.
Yeah, but there's nothing more embarrassing than you having the most immaculate pit entry you could have ever dreamed of. You passed everyone, it was perfect, and you slipped through the box. Or you took 4 tires, and everyone else gaps you because they only were in the box for 6 seconds. You were there for 14 seconds, and all of a sudden you're half a lap down, and everything's awful. So it goes both ways. A little bit of both would get you a long way.
Yeah, I've done that a time or 12, so I definitely understand that side of it. Slide through the box or do something stupid. I've been known to do that before. So, but these guys are lined up. We've got a 3-car at Talladega leading them to the green flag on this restart. SB bringing them down to that restart zone with Gil on his outside. We've got a 3 and a 0-3 actually on the front row. Green flag is back out. Good jump out of the 3-car. He's going to lead them back into turn 1 and 2 on this restart.
Really, from both of the front row drivers, got a great jump. The rest of the field kind of sleeping a little further back. Big run coming up here on the bottom. Top side following back a little bit. 10 machine's going to drop in there, and we are almost 3 wide a little further back here. Cofield, Jared Green. I think drivers just want to single file out and get some laps logged here. They're not really too interested in running 2 or 3 wide. They just want to get a little further in this race.
Yeah, at some point you just got to try to log some laps. You can see it in real life. Things will settle down at some point. Guys will just single file out. But we've got a few cars up on that top side that are trying to make some moves. Jared Green, we got the 97 of Mark Cofield, Brandon Wallace in the 90, Stephen McDonald a little bit farther up in the 68, all trying to make some moves on the top side, see if they can make some ground up here.
Absolutely, and what's nice about this racetrack is how wide it is. So you have so much room to operate here. We'll check it out from the 97 of Cofield. This is how wide this racetrack is. I mean, we're too wide, absolutely, but you could certainly fit another car in the middle on that hash or up to the top side on that hash. There are plenty of opportunities to go places here as we got a big push. 97 to the high side, 90's right behind him. Like we have a 3-wide battle here up inside the top 5.
Yeah, absolutely. Mark Cofield, Brandon Wallace up there on the top, trying to make some moves, just not a whole lot of help out there. Stephen McDonald in the middle by himself right now. Going to fall back a little bit here, I would think. They're almost full wide there for a moment.
They thought about it.
Yeah, they thought about it real hard, and you know what? 3 of those guys are teammates, so probably not the most efficient way of racing your way back up to the front, going 4 wide with no help behind.
Yeah, team owner is screaming right now. One driver I'm being pretty impressed with here is this 02 machine. He was able to pass a couple cars by himself, taking advantage of these checkups. He's got Sluttle right behind him, giving him a big push as Cofield's still trying to make that 3rd lane happen here with Brandon Wallace behind him. 68 a little further back, that's Stephen McDonald. And here comes the 87 and Gavin Hinson, who was just involved in that accident. The big run up the middle.
Yeah, and you can see it's just so hard to get that top line for him. Those cars in the middle, the 87 was able to suck up pretty easily to the 10 car in front of him. but just that top groove, just not able to make a whole lot of time there. Brandon Wallace tucked right up behind that 97 car. We go on board here with the 50 of Hancock to see what he is looking at out the front window, and doing a really good job here, riding in the 8th position right now.
Holy, what a move. I thought he was getting hooked.
That looked a little bit wilder from the onboard than I think it actually was. I was with you. I thought he was getting ready to make an abrupt right turn into the wall there, but just moving lines. We got a couple of lookalike cars up there again as they're starting to get a little bit wilder behind them here, 3 wide.
It just about had a big moment there with drivers scattering out, trying to figure out where the best place on the racetrack for their cars are, where's the speed at. And Cofield's still trying to make this high line work. He's got Matthew Montgomery right on his door. That's a driver I'd keep an eye on as well, is that 9 machine. I've talked about it a few times. Won the pole, has won 2 races this year, ran well at Daytona. Definitely has a good shot as we got some aggressive side drafting. Driver kicked out of the draft. Oh, Stephen Gill blew his engine.
With the blown engine, yeah. Just as you were saying that, there was that puff of black smoke from up near the front. And as you said, the 03 of Stephen Gill, a little bit too aggressive with the pushing there, and how tight he was tucked up. That is going to be a meat call for him, and I'm not sure if he's going to make it back around to the pits with how far away he was with that. Going to be tough, but either way, going to lose at least a lap in the process here.
Definitely. He does have a fast repair, so the day is not over, but still a frustration for the 03 as the 87 got a black flag, I believe, for incident points. Currently running 11th. He's the bottom car here, that Miller High Life car, the 87 machine. So he's going to have to bring it down the pit lane in short order to avoid a further penalty. So we're still 3 wide. Trying to figure out, can anybody in the middle or top side get close to the bottom lanes? We see those front 5 really able to kind of gap the field here. How about Trace McDowell? We saw this driver up against the outside wall not too long ago. He's running 3rd again.
Yeah, good recovery out of McDowell there. As you said, back up into 3rd. Did have to use their fast repair earlier, so something to keep an eye on as we move throughout the rest of this race. Just past halfway here. And we do have the 87 on pit road to serve that black flag that they received, so getting that taken care of here as well.
Definitely. Volanti stuck in the middle, going to get a little bit of help potentially. No, he's going to go right down to the bottom. Say, I don't want any more of this 3 wide nonsense. Cofield maybe going to try and run the bottom here. They'll stick with the middle.
Yeah, it looks like he's pretty committed to running that top group, but yeah, Henson and the 3 of Aaron Espy up there on the top, trying to make something happen, trying to get some runs generated here. Not content to stay in line as we've got the 16, and McDowell moves up in front of the 3.
Oh, they hung him
trying
out.
to take advantage of that momentum, but he's going to get shuffled to the top side.
Yeah, he was mirror driving to hang him out the track. Here comes Cofield. Big push to the back of the 16. Cofield's almost in the wall. Got McDonald right behind him. We got a battle for the lead now. Espy and the 02. It's only about a car width distance between them. 02 goes to block. He's able to get there. Can Espy do anything with him? Doesn't look like it. Content to push with 27 to go.
Yeah, Espy just riding in line. Well, as soon as I say that, he looks back to the bottom. He's got that 60 of Gavin Henson in tow behind. Trying to make a move, not able to get to that lead just yet. Caleb Jones going to hang on to it. And we've got Matthew Montgomery now leading that outside line. About 5 cars back from that bottom line, trying to make something happen.
And I feel like we're going to see that for the rest of this race. It's a case of drivers getting the high side, riding the lightning, so to speak, and then as soon as that momentum starts to die, get down to the bottom and just basically stop the gamble. You know, ride in 2nd, 3rd, whatever the case is, where the 60 and the 3 are, and then when you get another opportunity when someone else runs that high side, jump up in front of it and try and get the rest of those spots back. I think that's what we're going to see here the rest of the race.
Yeah, for sure. It kind of reminds me a little bit of the old Gen 6 Cup cars here is really how they raced. You couldn't really make that top groove work for a long period of time. Looks like a lot of guys are trying to migrate to the bottom here, as just looking at the laps since the last pit, there's going to be some guys that are getting close on fuel that are going to have to make it. There's a few that are already 20 laps on this stint. Just taking a look, Aaron Espy, Derek Splale, Jeremiah Holt, a few of the ones up near the front, Dustin Lewis as well. So they are currently 20, 21 laps in. Of course, with the cautions, that's going to help. But they got to be getting close where they're going to have to hit pit road here soon.
Yeah, I'm nervous for guys like SB, Scluttle, Holt. Just like you said, everyone that you just named. We are right at the edge of that window, and a stutter of fuel in this pack is not good news for the rest of the drivers on field.
No, absolutely not. The last thing you want to do is run out of fuel in front of this pack like that. We saw something similar with Gill with the blown engine earlier, and just a really good job by the field of avoiding when he ran out of power, basically. So, yeah, usually that spells disaster at these super speedways when that happens. So, the good news is, for those, if they do have to pit under green, you should be able to do it without losing a lap, if it does come to that.
Yeah, right about that. Let's do our final driver cam of the night. That would be none other than Mr. Ritters. Toby Ritters running 24th right now. Awesome sim rig he has. He's got the GoPro on the chest. Love to see it. Raced with him last night. Had a good time racing with him, and yeah, definitely giving this 88 a ride. Not a great start of the race. Of course, caught up in some accidents, but he is still in it. Still has a chance, and I expect to see this 88 back into the front fairly soon.
Yeah, that is an impressive sim rig, and I got to say, I'm a fan of the skeleton gloves too.
Agreed.
Those are always an excellent choice. So I'm not sure who he uses for his gloves, but
hook me up.
The company they are, but I like them.
Yeah. Let me know where to find those. They're pretty sick. Dale Jr. throwback gloves. For the driver running 23rd. Haven't missed much up front. Trace McDowell finds himself leading that high line. Oh, there goes the O2 off the front bumper of Espy. He's going to try and rejoin into the pack here. Where will Caleb Jones go? Pressy hung it down on the apron that long. That was well done.
Yeah, he did a really good job of hanging on to that there. As we see a few guys are peeling off to come down pit road. This is what we've been waiting on to see. Aaron Espy coming in hot, but I think he was able to get it slowed down in time. Got a few guys. Actually, we've got a whole gaggle of cars coming down pit road here.
Yeah, everyone who had 20 laps on this run. Looks like there's about a dozen of them. Michael Cole now leads as they work around Alex Pollock. See if these guys come down here. Probably the next couple laps, I would think, as Dustin Lewis in 6th is right on the edge of running out. Trace McDowell and Gavin Hinson can go a little bit further based on their caution they actually got tangled up with together, interestingly enough. I would expect Michael Cole and Gino Volante on pit road here in the next lap or two. So we'll see how this goes. Looks like they're maybe pitting here. Yes, they are.
Like we've got a few more hitting pit road here. And as you mentioned, Matthew Montgomery, Trace McDowell, Gavin Henson, they can all go a little bit farther. There's a few others a little bit farther back. The 20, the 45, the 61, they're all on that same pitch strategy where they can go a little bit farther as well. So this is going to put them in a better position, honestly. This is going to put them where they should be able to make it on one stop, but I don't think those that have pitted before now would be able to make it if it does go green to the end here.
Yeah, I'd agree with you on that. The group that just pit, I think they might be able to stretch it with some really aggressive fuel saving, but you got to remember, we're not going to be in a big pack again for at least a little while. The only bad news for these two leaders here is that they're by themselves. They have Alex Pollock, of course, but there's no other drafting help for them. And they're just trying not to hemorrhage time right now. They're currently running 52.4s. The rest of the field running 51.5. So they're a second off the pace. That is not going to help them when we get down to the end of the cycle.
No, you're absolutely right. Just not having the drafting help, even if they don't have to make an extra pit stop, if that difference in speed keeps up, those that have to stop twice may still even be able to catch them if they just need to come down for a splash of fuel at the end and not have to wait on them.
And definitely that. And you know, taking no tires instead of 2 tires or 4 tires will help you as well. Not taking the tear off or whatever have you can save you a second. So there are a lot of things you can do on pit road to really try and stretch that, or try and minimize that time, I should say. Is some drivers who are just leaving pit road now on their own. Brandon V's is no longer in the draft. It's like the leader of a couple of these packs. You got Toby Ritters in 5th, kind of leading his group. Aaron Espy leading what I would call the main pack right now, although it's only half a dozen cars strong, 7 cars strong. So I'm not sure if there is a main pack at this point.
Yeah, it's just really peculiar, to be honest, how this field is broken up through this green flag pit cycle. You know, normally you'll see that for a lap or 2, and then everybody kind of finds their way back together. And now you've got this, well, as you said, we'll call it the main pack, not running single file at the moment. See a couple of guys dipping out of line there. That's just slowing that group down.
Now, what you don't want to see is this. That is the last thing you want to see. If you're the 3, if you're the 02, the 78, is you do not want to see guys running too wide right now, especially because Stephen Gill's a lap down. That's got to be incredibly frustrating for the rest of this field. Just get in line and ride, because you're only hurting everyone, including yourself.
Yeah, absolutely, and that's part of the reason why whenever I've run super speedways, I like to try to pit with teammates. You can kind of talk amongst each other in the chats. It looks like we didn't have a ton of that with teammates kind of sticking together, a little bit all over the place with that, but even our 2 leaders now starting to pick up a few more dance partners here, as some of these others that have already pitted, it looks like, are closing in on them. So that's only going to help their cause depending on how quick they catch and if they're able to catch a little bit of draft off of them for a few laps.
And the lap times came down quite a bit. They were fast. They were one of the fastest groups on the racetrack there that last time. So they're gaining back what they had lost when they were by themselves. Even this last lap was pretty quick for the 9 and the 16. So I think they're going to be all right in terms of the strategy. Just curious to see what it's like on the racetrack when they all blend back together, because they still haven't pit, and there's only 17 to go, 18 to go. So should be pretty good on fuel, even if we stay green.
Yeah, absolutely. They should be able to go to the end, but other than this group, it looks like most others are 3 to 4 or 5 laps in on fuel right now. Even with aggressive fuel saving, I'm not sure that they would be able to make it based on what we've been seeing, as our leaders are now peeling off. See the 9, the 16, and the 92, although the 92 being a lap down, finally hitting pit road for some fuel in these cars.
Absolutely, and that was just about a big catastrophic error there. Trace McDowell in the back of Matthew Montgomery almost got him speeding. But no harm, no foul. Here comes Bridges. The other Bridges, Jordan and Sam. Scluttle currently leading this pack in P5. Should be able to retake the lead here pretty easily. Curious to see how it all cycles out.
Yeah, they're going to have all the momentum as they come through the tri-oval here. Going to be pretty easy for them to clear those that have just pitted. You can see them exiting the pits right there in front of our soon-to-be leader, Scluttle. I'm sorry, I'm probably mispronouncing his name. They're going to try to blend up back into the back of this pack with Montgomery and McDowell. And they might actually be able to catch a draft off the back of it and really make some time with these leaders.
Especially if the leaders start doing this. That is definitely helping the 9 and team. He's within the range to be able to draft with these guys. This is bad news for the rest of the field right here.
Yeah, and especially as you said, with those cars running side by side in front, he's right at the edge. With Matthew Montgomery, he's just under a second back, but I think he's close enough that he's going to be able to catch a draft off
he's
of
catching
these
them
two.
right now.
Yeah, he's definitely closing in on him. So
he's got him.
That could not have worked any better for the 9. I believe the 16.
He's too far back. No, he's losing the draft.
Right.
Yeah, he's going the wrong way. So it worked out for Montgomery, did not work out for Trace McDowell. It all comes down to the exit of pit road and the blend. The 9 just simply did it better. So right now, Matthew Montgomery, if it goes green, it's his race to lose.
Yeah, it's going to be hard for them to catch up to him. As you see, Montgomery's not even just content to ride in line here. he is looking to the outside of this lead pack, trying to make up some ground, see if he can get to the front of it. He's got the 87 behind pushing, and he is making some moves up on that top groove. They're basically got a tandem draft working right now. We're going to have to be careful with that, as we saw earlier. A little bit too much with that push can make that engine expire quickly.
Not only that, but we've seen bad pushes, right hook guys into the outside wall more than once today. So you not only worry about blowing the engine of the pusher, but also wrecking the guy being pushed. So you got to be very careful. This is always a racetrack where I wanted to be the leader. I didn't want to be the pusher. I was fine with being third as well. I don't want to be responsible and have your race in my hands. I would much rather, you know, just trust the guy behind me is going to give me a good shot and be quick on the wheel to not make it spin.
No, I agree with you. Although I think my favorite place at these super speedways is right up here in the broadcast.
Spin!
Good, they're wrecking behind. We've got 2 cars around. We've got the 3 of Aaron Espy and the 0-2 of Caleb Jones. That is going to take all that strategy talk we had and just toss it right out the window.
Yeah, that just bailed out the entire field. You're absolutely right, Daniel. That the only driver who didn't want to see that was Matthew Montgomery. Everyone else was thinking, thank goodness we got a shot again.
Yeah, absolutely. That just bailed out a lot of cars here. Let's take a look on the instant replay to see what exactly happened here. So he just guys riding in line.
Yeah, 0-2 tries to go block that lane. He does successfully. Then he gets shuffled out a little bit here. 87 got shuffled out as well. So falling back to the 9. Nine's going to put a move on him, top to bottom, crosses him over. He's trying to get back in line. SP goes with the 9. 0-2 thinks there's a hole. There isn't. And somehow SP got spun by Gill. Must have been on the brakes trying to avoid him, and Gill just didn't get to the brakes fast enough. But I saw a driver who really lost the front end of their car. Not sure who that was.
Yeah, I didn't quite catch who that was either, but I did see.
Oh, the 87.
Yeah, you're right. That was the 87 there. Yeah, there was a whole bumper laying in the middle of the track, so definitely not what the 87 was looking for, and I think that's actually going to put him out of this race now.
Yeah, he left.
It looks like he's disconnected after that. Not the evening he was looking for, as I believe he already had to burn his fast repair earlier. That's
gotta be frustrating.
Yeah, for sure. But these guys are thankful for that caution. Some of them are. As they hit pit road, this is going to put everybody in the window to make it to the end of the race. No more strategy talk. We are just going all out from here to the end.
Yeah, it's essentially a heads-up race. All about track position. Whereas where you see that McDowell and Montgomery stayed out because they have enough fuel to make it to the end anyway. So they are already winning the track position battle. So good move on their part. Gino Volanti staying out. 10 laps on his Furon. I'm a little curious about that. I don't think he can quite make it. Scluttle in 6th is the first of the drivers who are pitting under this sequence. But we're going to take a quick step aside here. Be back in just a few minutes. Don't go anywhere. You've been watching the National Sim Racing League Association, presented to you by Diesel Laptops. See you in just a little bit.
Racing isn't easy, but experiencing it is. iRacing puts you in the driver's seat with the industry's leading sim racing game. Drive on laser scan replicas of the greatest racing circuits from around the world. Go head-to-head against other drivers chosen by skill-based matchmaking to ensure competitive racing at every level. Compete across all your favorite series. In officially licensed cars, engineered to deliver the most accurate driving experience possible. Join a race or host your own with players from across the globe. Race against the computer or in a league with friends. Feel the thrill behind the wheel. Visit iRacing.com.
Back here live on VSPEED. 10 laps to go here at Talladega. Everyone can make it on fuel. A lot of drivers still have a faster pair. Daniel, I don't think we're done wrecking yet.
You know, Morgan, I think that might be a safe assumption. We are getting down to the end of this race, like you said, getting down to the 10 to go. All that strategy talk that we've spent the last hour talking about, you can take that, rip it up, throw it out your window. We don't have to worry about fuel, neither do the drivers. I have a feeling that this is about to get wild here.
Agreed. We got some wild frustrations as well in the Discord chat. Drivers not happy with each other after a number of wrecks caused by some just maneuvers on the racetrack. I mean, it's Talladega. These things happen. Blocks that don't go your way or whatever have you. So, I mean, that's part of racing here, and it's been a pretty good race so far. Do a quick recap while we have a moment. 5 cautions, 14 lead changes, 56 laps in. So we're doing pretty good, I would say here, Daniel, and it's about to get wild, I agree.
Yep, as we are getting ready to fire them back off here. Matthew Montgomery, Trace McDowell on the front row, and all Bridges second row with Sam Bridges and Jordan Bridges. They are in the restart zone. Green flag is back in the air. We've got Matthew Montgomery taking control. Looks like there were some guys near the back of the packet before we cross the start-finish line. Not sure how race control is going to handle that one.
Yeah, but, I believe the 01's going to get a penalty for that because he absolutely jumped that restart and went around the 65 machine, who I think still has damage from earlier. He's been awfully slow on these restarts, but regardless, I don't know. That's going to be a tough one for race control. 10 laps to go.
And we've got the Bridges down there on the bottom line behind Matthew Montgomery to see if they can make any moves here to get themselves up front. We're going to have to assume that those two are related and probably going to be trying to work together here as we get near the end of it. Trace McDowell leading that top line as we go on board with Sam Bridges here, riding behind that 9 car.
They just can't quite get to the back bumper. You get really close. Well, he's going to get a touch right there. Push Montgomery just a little bit.
Oh, we've got him wrecking in the back of the field.
Oh, wow.
We've got
Cochran.
A big hit for a couple of different cars there. Cochran, the 03 of Aaron Espy. He has got a wheel hanging off of the front of that car. Basically driving a tricycle right now. I have to pull this back up and take a look at what happened.
So what happened in front of Cochran, if Espy was in it. See Espy on the right side of the screen. Oh, he tried to go clear the 19, was not clear. Oh man, that's a tough one for a lot of these guys, but let's go back and see it from Espy. Yeah, so high above this car here. He's following behind V's. Sees the 19, going to use the draft, try and get around the 19. It goes back up to clear him right there and is just not quite clear. Oh man, that's frustrating for a lot of these guys.
And it looked like there may have even been a little bit of net code between the 3 and the 88 there as the 3 came back down, because it looked like the 3 started to turn before they ever made contact. So definitely frustrating with what happened there. And man, that was also an absolutely brutal hit for the 8 of Jacob Cochran. probably going to be the end of his night here, as I believe he did use his fast repair earlier. A lot of damage on that car.
Yeah, you're right about that neck
yeah.
code. I think he had it saved. SB did until that neck code happened, but let's have a look at Cochran's ride here, because this was a big one.
He's right on board here with them. This is not going to be a fun onboard to take a look at. Just kind of minding his own business here in that middle lane. And he is going to be basically an innocent bystander along for the ride here. Gets hooked. He just about had it saved, and then he got hooked straight up into the wall. Just towed after that. Car absolutely destroyed.
That's not how it's supposed to look with the modified version of it. That's not what you're looking for here at Talladega. Yeah, Aaron SB Racing drivers not having a good day. One driver is having a good day. Matthew Montgomery started on the pole, has led 16 of the 60 laps so far, and is currently leading this race. What if can he hang on? What do you think, Daniel?
He's definitely looked comfortable out there in front. It seems like he's doing a good job of controlling the lines. When he makes the blocks, like you said earlier, they got to be quick and they got to be decisive. And when he has needed to throw blocks, he's been following both of those rules. So, and I would have to think the more of these cautions that we have, it's going to be harder for them to generate those runs that they need. It takes so long to even get the cars wound up in the first place, that if any of these guys a little bit farther back are going to have a shot, they really need to get green from here to the end to try to get something formed up.
And especially with how the top 2-3 rows typically are getting good restarts, but the drivers behind them are having trouble accelerating with all the damage on their cars. These runs on the top side really start generating from that 5th, 6th, 7th car in line. So you need to have all those cars really hooked up and running well on these restarts to be able to get there. So to further your point, I don't believe the outside is going to be a ton of a factor unless those drivers can get a good run, at least in the first couple laps of this restart.
Yeah, for sure. The other thing, too, is that you've got to have people that are committed to kind of stay up there with you. So if you're not working with teammates, you get some people that are up there working with you. If they don't have any allegiance to you, once they get clear for the lead or they get a place to clear down for a better position, they're going to take it. They're going to do what they need to do to improve their race. And that's through no fault of their own. I'd be doing the same thing if I was out there. So you've really got to have that commitment to make it work up on the top side.
For sure. Looks like we're going to have a West Texas Pepper Traders front row here. The 9, the 78, and the 45 all donning the same sponsor on the hood, so I'm not sure that's a coincidence. Must be some sort of team affiliation, I would imagine. Maybe a CLL teamwork here out of the 9, 45, and 78.
Yeah, very well maybe, and actually I believe they are all teammates. So looking up through some of our chats that we've got here in the Discord channel, they're all in the same Discord together. So that is Team Apollo that has the 9, the 78, and the 45. So just as I was talking about, you're going to have that teamwork to make the top side really roll. We've got 3 teammates that are up there together. So it's going to be hard to get that broke up.
Let's peel back the layers on this a little bit more. You have 1 driver on the bottom, 2 on the top. How do you get those drivers, all 3 of them together? What is the move that you do here?
You could do a little bit of a teammate restart if you're counting each other down. Maybe the 9 says, this is where I'm going to launch at in the restart zone. 78 could wait just a split second to get on the throttle, let the 9 clear up in front. I wouldn't be surprised if that's what we see here on this restart, or they very well may say, hey, we've got control of the top lane, we've got control of the bottom lane. Let's just keep this side by side, control both lanes, and make sure that somebody from our team wins this race.
Do you think it's possible that the 9 drags brake on the bottom once they get up to speed and lets the high side go by him and he slots it behind both of them?
I'm not going to say it's not possible, but I know if I was in control and I had that #1 spot this late in the race, I ain't giving it up to nobody, even if it's a teammate. So, not saying it won't happen, but I'm just saying I don't think I'd be able to give up the lead like that this late.
Well, we're going to find out here. Going to be 6 laps to go when we get back to the stripe. Montgomery, Sam Bridges, Trace McDowell, Jordan Bridges, your first 2 rows into the Geico restart zone. What could be the money restart of the night. We're back racing here at Talladega.
See the 9 with a good jump there. I think we did see a little bit of that teammate restart there as the 78 kind of hung back a little bit. Now the 9 of Matthew Montgomery going to clear up in front of his 2 teammates. See if they can get something working up here on the top line to keep control of this race.
It looks like they will. McDowell on the bottom is a ways back. They're clear all the way down, and they're going to take it, it looks like. Yes, they will. It's going perfect. This restart so far for Team Apollo, as they're almost 3 wide behind them. Zechariah Cartledge in the middle, Jeremiah Holt, and Michael Cole. They straighten themselves out. We have a bit of a team working together here at the front of the field.
Yeah, they really could not have orchestrated that any better. That's pretty much textbook teamwork right there between the top 3 cars as they did what they needed to do to keep control, get down on that bottom lane. It's going to be hard to break up that trio. As you can see, the 78 just tucked up right behind Matthew Montgomery in the 9 car. You see the 3 of them starting to actually put just a little bit of a gap. Not necessarily what you want to do here at Talladega. It opens up the door for some runs to take place. But that top groove not giving up yet as we ride on board with the 35 of Gino Valenti.
And there's an affiliate of his. That's Michael Cole going to pull out in front. Another driver able to hopefully make that line a little bit stronger.
We've got another yellow flag out here for a few cars around near the back of the
points
field.
Leaders in it. Dustin Lewis.
Yeah. Dustin Lewis, looked like the 17 of Jaden Mazzell was involved with it as well, to see what happened back here a little bit farther back in the pack.
Oh, just a big checkup.
Big checkup, and also I think it looked like big net code again, honestly, into the 33 with the bump. 33 just too long for the ride there, but just going back and looking at that, it looked like there was a decent gap between the 33 and the 49, and the 33 just shot forward out of nowhere with that checkup here. Get another view of it.
Yeah, you're right. Not an egregious checkup by any stretch, but it absolutely launched the 33 up to alongside the 17. And yeah, I mean, obviously caught up in that accident, not much you can do about it if you're either of those drivers. We've seen some weird netcode incidents here tonight. This server definitely not agreeing with a lot of these drivers' internet.
Yeah, we have seen some really odd netcode incidents, and that kind of tracks with something that I've heard some other drivers saying just about the ARCA car in general since they've done the new ARCA car, that will say this current one that they have that they're racing tonight. It just seems like sometimes the netcode is a little bit worse for some reason, so we've seen it bite a few guys tonight.
Yeah, for sure about that. Well, setting it up for a natural green-white checker. 4 laps to go. Going to be 3 at the line. So now the teammates work together so well to get 1, 2, 3. With with a green-white checker here, I don't believe there is any way that you can help out that guy on the top. I think you have to just go team first, guys on the bottom, do what you got to do to go win the race, and just hope the guy on the top is able to get the good restart and hang with you. Thoughts, Daniel?
Yeah, I think that you may be right on that. You can correct me if I'm wrong here, Morgan, but I'm not sure if the leader gets lane choice or not with this series, or if they have to start where iRacing tells them.
I think they start where iRacing tells them, if I'm not mistaken.
Okay. I was going to say, if the leader gets lane choice, then the 9 of Montgomery could start up top and kind of orchestrate to drop down in front of his teammates that would be lined up on the bottom. But yeah, it's going to be a lot harder to pull off with just one car up on the top line that's not that control car. So we'll see how that plays out. They did a really good job of getting that work the first time, and it seems like they're doing a good job of working together here as we are, like you said, lining up for a natural green-white checker, and they are in the driver's seat right now.
Yeah, belt's getting pulled tight here as we're coming to 1 to go. Currently rolling in turns number 3 and 4. That was a good time, I think, to remind you who you're listening to. Daniel Cunningham, myself, Morgan Cook. You're watching VSPEED. If you haven't already, please make sure to like the video, subscribe to the channel, so you don't miss a moment of the racing action that you can't get anywhere else. Also, check out the affiliate links in the description below. We got some cool stuff in there, some cool stuff on the way. So definitely make sure to check those out on all of our future videos that I know you're watching, because everyone likes to watch VSPEED. Isn't that right, Daniel?
Yeah, absolutely. VSPEED got a little bit of something for everybody with all the different series we cover. There's, like you see tonight, there's ARCA, there's all the NASCAR series, even got a little bit of open wheels, some IndyCar stuff in there. So definitely, if you haven't checked them out, check this out. Take a look at all the series that we cover here and find something that you like.
Definitely. Formula cars earlier today, that was a lot of fun. There at a racetrack that I still can't pronounce in France, Magny-Cours, I believe is how you say it the English way. Regardless, great race there, 26 laps for the officials earlier this afternoon. So definitely would tune into that weekly on Saturday afternoons if you need your fix of open wheel here on VSPEED. Appreciate Daniel joining in with me, my third commentator in the last 5 weeks. I just keep running them off. I'm sorry. Hopefully Daniel stick around a little bit longer though.
Yeah, it's been fun. I mean, if you if you don't mind listening to some redneck from West Virginia up here in the booth, then you know, I'll come back and be back up here with you again.
Well, we'll probably see him next week and for many other races here throughout the season. And races this season, a couple of them. Won by Matthew Montgomery, the 2.5 mile, well, 2 of the 1.5 miles. We had 1.5 mile won by Mark Cofield. And then, of course, Daytona was won by Kai Collymore, who's not in this race today. Those have been the 4 races so far. So Montgomery won at Wilkesboro, not 1.5 miles. My mistake there. Regardless, those are the 4 winners, or the 4 races, 3 winners this season. Will somebody else add their name to that list? Will Montgomery go back-to-back? Cofield get up here and win another race? What do you think, Daniel?
This one might get wild. This is actually going to be an overtime green-white checker finish. Did actually go past our scheduled race distance with this last caution. Thought they were going to get them lined up in time to be a natural green-white checker. But I think it's going to be hard to beat these Team Apollo guys up there in control of the race on the front row. But Matthew Montgomery, Sam Bridges up there up front, bringing us down to the restart zone. We're going to see if anybody has anything for them here.
You can see them trying to time this restart properly. You got Trace McDowell pushing the heck out of that 78 machine. Green flag is in the air. Montgomery's going to get away clean. Side by side are the Bridges. And here comes Trace McDowell trying to keep that high lane rolling.
Yeah, Trace McDowell giving a really big shove to the 78 here, trying to stay connected to get something going, but he is going to pull down. I did not think that they would be able to pull that off, but good teamwork there from Team Apollo. They are lined up 3 cars on the bottom. Trace McDowell not giving up, though. He is even with the leader as they head down into 3 and 4.
Absolutely, it's not over yet. Here comes the high side. Got McDonald all the way up there as McDowell clears on the bottom.
And that was an absolute power move from McDowell. I did not think he was going to be able to get up there.
Oh, they hung him
not
out.
Over yet, though. See the teamwork coming into play with Team Apollo. We are going to get back to the white flag. This is going to be the race to the end here. 1 lap to go at Talladega.
Montgomery gets shoved out of line. Oh, man, heartbreak for the 9 machine. Back up front, it's Sam Bridges, pushed by Jordan Bridges. Zechariah Cartledge, Stephen McDonald. Out of shape. We got drivers all over the place here. Still,
McDonald up there leading the high line with the 92 of Pollock back on the lead lap after everything that he's had tonight. He's back up there. He has got a shot to the win. McDonald side by side with Bridges for the lead through 3 and 4.
the wrecking behind him, Volante's involved. We'll go look at that later. But at this moment, it looks like Stephen McDonald has the edge. They're dooring each other behind him. Here comes the 16. But it looks like, is that Gavin Hinson? Gavin Hinson won this race.
Got him at the line by the slimmest of margins.
Oh my goodness.
His only lap led for the race is going to be the most important one for the 60. Heartbreak 2 for Stephen McDonald, finishing second.
Unbelievable.
By just a fender.
And I'll tell you why this is absolutely Cinderella story. The race I won last night, I won by 4 1,000ths of a second. The driver who finished second was Gavin Hinson. Unbelievable. Unbelievable run for Gavin tonight. Led a single lap, and it was absolutely the right one. I cannot believe he just pulled that off.
Yeah, just an absolutely phenomenal run back to the checkered flag for Gavin Hinson. See a little bit of celebrations maybe between him and the 61 of Zechariah Cartledge. And yeah, that's just an absolutely wild finish. And I thought the 68 had it locked up coming off of turn 4. But that just goes to show you it ain't over until you get to that start-finish line.
Absolutely. What a great run to the finish by Gavin Hinson. Let's go back and let's see exactly how this last lap went. It was a wild one. There's a lot to unpack here.
Definitely a lot to take a look at. See, Gavin Hinson was burning it down there on the front straightaway. I know he's got to be pumped up, especially with that redemption from last night in that race that you were talking about.
So here he is, coming out of 4. He's sitting third. Right behind Pollock.
At about 6th right there.
Third on the high side, sorry.
Third,
you're right.
Yeah, third in line.
So Pollock is shoved down to the bottom. It's now just the 68, and he's got Zechariah Cartledge right behind him. And oh, Cartledge pushes him all the way to the win. Yeah, that bump was the one that got him the W.
Yeah, Zechariah gave him an absolutely huge push through the tri-oval. Timed perfectly, too, and just able to get there by the slimmest of margins. Probably one of the closest finishes that I've seen at a super speedway like that.
I want to go back a little bit further. I just saw something that was curious here. I saw Cofield get shoved down to the bottom, of course. Drivers all over the place. This might be under review for the 16 machine. I saw him go well below the double yellow line here. And I'm not sure what the reasoning was. So you see right here, under the yellow line, gets right beside Cartledge and then just kind of forces them up off the bottom here. So curious to see what that is reviewed as. Obviously, didn't really make a difference in the result of the race. Probably helped the 61. There goes Volante around. Big crack for him. And obviously this down to the finish here. So let's go see from Volante's point of view. Is he still getting pushed by Green? After this replay, we will take a quick commercial break, get to your results, and then interview with your top 3, Hinson, McDonald, and Cartledge.
Yeah, this is definitely going to be a wild ride for the 35 here. See 3 wide in the middle.
That car's shaking all over the place.
And actually 15, 4 wide there.
Yeah, 15 got to his quarter. Just, they made contact, and 2 drivers trying to get the same spot.
Yeah, definitely. And there was even a handful of black flags on that last lap, too.
5 of them.
Incident points. We saw Alex Pollock in the 92 actually originally cross the line in P3, but with the incident points back to 17th, I believe. So quite a few that affected that finish.
Absolutely. Well, that was the finish of the Diesel Laptops race here at Talladega Superspeedway for the National Sim Racing League Association. There is your sponsor, Diesel Laptops. We'll be back after just a few moments here to recap how this race went, get you your results, and interview your top 3, Hinson, McDonald, and Cartledge, Don't go anywhere. You're not going to want to miss this.
The victory, 128 laps without a pit stop.
Donnie Kite's gonna get through it all and score his first career win.
Saturday Night Racing League and throwback at Charlotte goes to Josh Adams.
Racing isn't easy, but experiencing it is. iRacing puts you in the driver's seat with the industry's leading sim racing game. Drive on laser scan replicas of the greatest racing circuits from around the world. Go head-to-head against other drivers chosen by skill-based matchmaking to ensure competitive racing at every level. Compete across all your favorite series in officially licensed cars engineered to deliver the most accurate driving experience possible. Join a race or host your own with players from across the globe. Race against the computer or in a league with friends. Feel the thrill behind the wheel. Visit iRacing.com.
Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to the post show here for the NSRLA Diesel Laptops race at Talladega. Here is how it went down. 7 cautions for 15 lead changes, went into overtime, 68 laps to get this one in the books. Gavin Hinson, by 3/1000ths of a second, is able to get the win over Stephen McDonald, making his first start in the series. Zechariah Cartledge, Jordan Bridges, Stephen Gill, after blowing a motor, did a quick change on pit road, comes back to finish in the 5th position. Gregory Vadnais in 6th. Aaron Espy is 7th. Brandon Bees had a great rebound, finishes in 8th. Jaden Mazzell in 9th. Mark Cofield, the hometown driver, rounds out the top 10.
Taking a look a little bit farther back here, we've got Kevin Satori in 11th. Matthew Montgomery, the heartbreak on the last lap, coming home in 12th. Jared Green, 13th. Aaron Wright, 14th. 15th, Daniel Sila. 16th, Enoch Hancock. 17th, after having what was a pretty solid recovery, Alex Pollock finishing 17th with a black flag on the last lap. Jeffrey Bourne in 18th. Trace McDowell, 19th. Rounding out your top 20 is going to be Sam Bridges.
Finishing in 21st tonight, Derek Sklottel in the 10. Jones going to finish in 22nd. Waro 23rd. Michael Cole finishes 24th. Toby Ritters in 25th. Last driver on the lead lap. Few who got penalties. Jeremiah Holt 26th. Pino Vallanti 27th. Points leader coming in, Dustin Lewis, likely not going to be the points leader on the way out of Talladega. He finishes 28th. Bristow finishes 29th. And Jacob Cochran, after a wild ride in turn number 1 and 2, finishes in the 30th position.
Taking a look at our last few finishers here, we had Connell Bolton in the 31st position, Brandon Wallace 32nd, 33rd MJ Palmer, and 34th David Boyer. Everyone below that were the ones that we had DNQ tonight, as we did only have 33 cars actually take the green flag.
Absolutely. So Moyer, White, Holston, Elaine, Gills, Privat, and Charlo did not make the show tonight. Neither did, obviously, Race Control and league owner Andy Berry, credited with the 41st place finish tonight, even though he was up in the booth this evening. That's a look at your results of what was an absolutely wild race. Now let's get down trackside and talk with the drivers who ended up finishing the top 3, starting off first with Zechariah Cartledge. Zechariah, it's Morgan and Daniel up in the VSPEED booth. You got a copy?
Yes, sir, I do.
Goodness gracious, you kind of came out of nowhere the last few laps there. We didn't see you for much of the day in that nicely wrapped VSPEED machine on the hood and on the tail. I mean, you kind of came out of nowhere, but you were the instrumental part in getting Gavin Hinson this win. I mean, how was the race from your seat?
Man, for the first 95% of that race, other than the 2 laps, I happened to be up in the front. I was not having a good race. I mean, if you compare it to Daytona last Super Speedway race, I was up front the entire time pretty much and finished second. Today it was the complete opposite. But when it comes to the finish, I don't know if I need to look back at it. I don't know if it was luck. I don't know if it was just picking the right line. But my teammate Trace McDowell in turn 3 on the last lap wouldn't. I was telling him, dude, get out. I mean, he was on the apron, and he was just saying, no, I need to get back up. So I had to be forced out to the outside. Honestly, I'm not gonna be mad at him because I think that helped me, to be honest. But I came into the final few laps knowing, hey, I've not been up front this entire race. I've kind of had an unlucky race, and I noticed Dustin Lewis, the points leader, he was 28th. The best bet I had tonight to get the best result for me was just to race clean, hope for not a yellow, so Dustin Lewis doesn't get his lap back. And I decided on that last lap, once I was behind the 60 car, the 60 car is someone I've definitely roughed up in the last few races. I feel like I've kind of messed him up a few times. He could have gotten a little bit of a better finish if it wasn't for what I did to him. So I just pushed him, man. I was just trying to get the best result possible. I just pushed him. Good for him on getting that win. Gavin is a fast driver. He's just been unlucky a lot. So I'm proud of that he got that win. I think I'm the points leader now. I'm not going to say anything until it's out, but I think I'm the points leader after that finish. So I'm completely happy with the 3rd place finish. I'm really proud of the work tonight we did to get back up to the front after getting turned very, very harshly while fighting for the lead. But glad I could do it with VSPEED on the car, Blue Line Automotive as well. And everybody else as well to get us this 3rd place finish.
Awesome. I mean, you pretty much answered every question I could ask, including the who do you want to thank, who you want to shout out. So A+ on that interview. Well done, all in one question. But I mean, just I want to just recap. Great job tonight, and I'm sure that you've got the respect of some of the drivers out there now with how you handled the last lap, being forced up off the bottom, not making any egregious moves, and ended up finishing here in the top 3. So congratulations, Zechariah, on a great finish, and you more than likely will be the points leader after this one.
Yeah,
so
and real quick before, I want to thank a few more people, but I also just want to say I came into this race, I was not on best terms with a lot of these drivers, especially after I wrecked in the lead at Kentucky. I basically wiped out Matthew Montgomery's chance. He could have gone 3 in a row if he won that race. I believe he won the last 2. I may be thinking wrong, but this race was honestly just a race I needed to get my reputation back, get a good finish, maybe help someone out like Dustin Lewis, get a win, who I've not had the good pass with. But really proud tonight with this 3rd place finish despite having a pretty subpar race. I want to thank, like I said, VSPEED, Blue Line Automotive. I want to thank Monaco Zero Designs for wrapping the car. Him and Bandit GFX, my 2 graphic designers, they are probably the best people in the business. They charge you cheap. They're young people like me. They're looking to get into NASCAR. If you need a scheme, go to them. They are amazing. Running for Heroes, I want to thank R2R, our team. We had like 11 people tonight in our voice chat just helping each other out. So I'm proud of all of them. And yeah, man, thank you for what you guys do in the booth. You all produce great stuff. I'm glad to have you on the car this week. And hopefully we'll get that win soon, maintain the points lead, and hopefully win this championship later on in the season.
Awesome. Well, that's your 3rd place finisher tonight, Zechariah Cartledge. Thank you for your time.
Thank you.
Move one spot up the podium, where we're going to find Stephen McDonald. Daniel Cunningham has caught up with him.
Yeah, standing by here with Stephen McDonald, our 2nd place finisher. Stephen, this is Daniel and Morgan up in the VSPEED booth. You got us, buddy?
Yeah, I got you, man. How y'all doing tonight?
Well, I'm doing good, man. How about that 2nd place run you had? First race in the series, coming out here and having a really solid result. Talk us through those last few laps and what was going through your mind with that run that you had and getting up there to finish second.
I just had my mindset when the green flag dropped, I was hitting the high line and holding it to the floor, hoping for the best.
Well, you love to hear it. I mean, was there anything that you feel like maybe you could have done different? I mean, to be honest, I thought coming off of turn 4 that you had that one locked up with just the way they were racing behind you. Do you feel like there's anything if you had it to do over again that you might have done a little bit different coming through the tri-oval there?
Nah, I'm pretty content with what I did, man. I mean, it was a good night. Considering it was my first race back in about 4 months, I'm just ecstatic with it. So
Well, really solid run, man. Glad to see you back out here racing. Glad to see you get a really good result here at Talladega tonight. Before we let you go, who you got to thank? Any sponsors or shout outs?
I want to thank my wife for standing behind me and let me do this, and want to thank my teammates Mark and Jeremiah. I couldn't have done it without them. And like to say thanks to Diesel Laptops for putting this on.
All right. Well, congratulations on the second place finish, brother. We'll look forward to seeing you out there again.
Thank you, man. Y'all have a good night.
You too.
That's your second place finisher tonight, Stephen McDonald. Definitely got to give a big shout out to Diesel Laptops as well for sponsoring most of the races this season, including this one here at Talladega. But a driver who I'm sure has many people to thank for getting him to this point, Gavin Hinson. Gavin, it's Morgan and Daniel up in the VSPEED booth. You got a copy?
I sure do.
Well, hopefully this one makes up a little bit for last night. You basically won in exactly the same fashion that I did over you. I'm sorry to rub that in again, but walk me through that last lap. You entered turn 3 and 4 in 6th and ended up as the winners across the line.
I just held it to the floor. That's really all I did. Me and Pollock, we had a plan there on the last restart. We were going to go to the high side. First chance we got. So I was following him through there, and I think it was on the back stretch. I think on the last lap, I think he ended up getting 4x for a push or something like that. I was getting shoved. I mean, everybody's pushing and shoving. And he was like, just push me. Let's just go. Let's get to the front. And coming off of turn 4, I saw an opening, and 61 pushed me. I knew he was going to push me. I was like, well, I hope I don't wreck, but he pushed me, and I looked down and I seen the thing update from 12 to first place. I'm like, I instantly thought about last night, and I couldn't believe it. I didn't think I beat him, but it was really close.
Yeah, it absolutely was. I mean, it was just an incredible finish from our point of view. Drivers wrecking in the background, drag race. We thought the 68 had it, and then all of a sudden, Gavin Hinson comes shot out of a cannon with help of the 61 to win the race. Poetic, really, if you think about it. But just overall, how was this race from your point of view? We kind of saw you up at the front, at the back of the field, kind of in the middle. You're all over the place. You only led that one lap right at the end, but kind of walk me through your race. Just how was it from a whole?
Yeah, I mean, I don't like riding in traffic, but it was okay. Uh, we there was a caution, and I think we had like a 3-4 lap run, and we had a caution. I stayed out with SP, and I was thinking, all right, I'm gonna get a track position, and I can set myself up if I can just keep this track position. And then I think it was the 16 decides to block us and wreck us for whatever reason with 38 laps to go. So I had to go right back to the back and then work my way back up, and it was just it was crazy. But I was confident that I could get to the front. It was just if we could get green flag laps in, and they were kind of scarce there at the end. But I was thinking about it. That run from 14th, I restarted 14th, and it ended up winning. Sounds like a little bit like Dale Earnhardt Sr. So I paid a little homage to him tonight by doing that. It was a lot of fun though.
I'm exactly right. Cartilage, Kenny Wallace. I'm not sure he's going to like that, but maybe you'll have to break that one to him. Regardless, congratulations, Gavin, on a well-earned victory here tonight. Who you want to thank? Who you want to shout out for? Yeah, definitely a very close finish here at Talladega.
I'll shout out my teammate Alex Pollock. He helped me out there. It was good to have him there for the last couple laps. I knew he had trouble in the race. It was good to have him up there, and uh, thank you guys for doing a great job in the booth. Morgan, you're probably one of my favorites in the booth that I've seen since I think league racing on here. So I want to shout you out. Even though you beat me last night, it's all right. I'll forget about it.
We're good now,
And,
right?
Yeah, we're good. We're good. That's about it for my shout outs. It's just a fun race. I'm glad to finally win one of these things.
Yeah, I mean, great run, and again, congratulations, Gavin, on a well-earned victory, and I'm sure it will be a fairly popular victory amongst the league here. So, congratulations, thank you for your time.
Thank you.
That is your winner tonight, Gavin Hinson. Well, that is going to do it here after what has been a fun Talladega race for the National Sim Racing League Association. Brought to you by Diesel Laptops here at Talladega. Daniel, what do you got for us? How do you think that one went?
Man, I mean, that was entertaining from start to finish. As far as we had a lot of side-by-side racing, a lot of big moves, typical Talladega big crashes. Next week, though, with going to Martinsville, I don't know what to expect out of that one. We saw a few tempers flare tonight. We're going to short track next week, so might see some of that flare back up, Morgan.
Yeah, you want to see the exact opposite of Talladega? Tune in next week to Martinsville, little half-mile paperclip, where drivers are going to be all over each other, pushing probably, but not the same way they did tonight. Not to go faster, simply to get them the heck out of the way. Definitely stay tuned to that one, and then a week break for Watkins Glen. After that, Richmond will wrap up the month of August. Bristol, Michigan, Lucas Oil Raceway, and Las Vegas round out the rest of the season. Make sure to tune into all these races and all the other ones we have here on VSPEED, including, I believe, happening right now. We'll probably still catch the end of the Saturday Night Racing League, the Cup Series, if I'm not mistaken. Definitely make sure to tune into that here tonight. Going to be some great racing. I don't know where they are. I assume Daytona, but I could be wrong about that. Logan Threlkeld on the call over there. But for everyone here at VSPEED, Logan, as I just mentioned, Bradley, Eddie, Adam, everyone else behind the scenes, and of course Daniel Cunningham for putting up with me for the evening and be the color commentator on this race. I've been Morgan Cook. Thank you for watching VSPEED here with us this evening. If you haven't already, make sure to like the video, subscribe to the channel so you don't miss a moment of the racing action you can't get anywhere else. Catch you next time here on VSPEED.